From the studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska, we present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy, Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. Welcome to a Monday. Back to the grind here, another Monday. It's the 11th day of May for 2026. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic, ready to start your day the right way. All of your news, weather, and sports that you need to get out the door here this morning. Big weekend for the Huskers, the Nebraska baseball team sweeping Iowa, picking up a win yesterday at Hawks Field by the score of 8-6. We'll talk about that coming up. The Nebraska softball team capturing the Big Ten Conference Tournament Championship. They knocked off UCLA in the championship game on Saturday 7-2. Now the Huskers will move into regional play as they have been selected to play in the NCAA softball national tournament. We'll talk about that coming up. Pairings are set for the state high school baseball tournament. State soccer gets underway today in Omaha. The NBA playoffs, the NHL playoffs continuing. We'll talk about that coming up. We'll get some comments from Rhonda Ravel, the Nebraska softball head coach, coming up during the show here today. Also hear from Husker baseball coach Will Bolt. So all that and more is coming up for you as you wake up, get going this morning, as you join us at the breakfast table, as you welcome in Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios. Good morning.
And good morning. As Rhonda is salty as I am right now with the way things shook out for the Nebraska softball team. You win the Big Ten Conference Championship. Oklahoma, who was in front of you, goes down in the quarterfinals. So Nebraska was, at least in my eyes and vision of things, to put a formula together, the number one team in the nation, so should have been the number one overall seed. Apparently the NCAA selection committee didn't see it that way. Took three SEC teams in over Nebraska, so I guess we have reason to be a little salty. You know, the old adage is you're going to have to play everybody if you want to win the Natty anyway, and we're going to have to play our way in, but a 4 seed? The disrespect, man. The disrespect.
Yeah, you kind of talked about that last week, that the SEC had the power teams in there.
Oh, yeah.
And they've got 12 out of their 15 teams in the field for the tournament. Nebraska will be the number 4 seed. So the Huskers get a regional at home. And if they win the regional, they'll get to host a super regional coming up in a week or so. So I'm all right, I guess, with a number 4 seed. Like we said, we got to beat them anyway. So take care of business, take one game at a time, advance through the regional, get through the super regionals, and then we'll see what happens down in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, I'm with you, but at the same time, you know, would you have preferred the number 1 overall seed? Sure. I mean, everybody does. And, I mean, that creates a little bit better path. There's still talented teams. You get to the super regional stage, and like I said, I think there's 16 teams in here that I could name off the top of my head that I think could win the damn thing. So, still, I think the overall feeling is salty that you're not the top seed, but that puts a chip on the shoulder, right? That gives you something to go prove. That gives you something to go play for. Hey, we did everything in our power to be the number 1 team in the nation. This selection committee didn't feel like we are deserving of that title, so let's go out and show them. And now let's go out and play ball.
Alabama will be the number 1 seed. Texas, the number 2 seed. Then it's Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Arkansas. The other top seeds for NCAA softball will be Florida in at number 6, then Tennessee, UCLA at number 8, Florida State number 9, Georgia number 10. As far as the Nebraska region is concerned, the Huskers will play South Dakota on Friday. That'll be the second game scheduled First pitch will be around 5:30 at Bowlin Stadium. The first game will pit Louisville against Grand Canyon. That game will start at 3 o'clock, and we'll hear from Rhonda here in a little bit. Those are three teams that really Nebraska doesn't have a lot of history with. They have played this South Dakota like during the fall season, not this last fall, but in the past they have. They haven't played Grand Canyon, haven't played Louisville to her knowledge in softball. So we're going to see some new teams coming in here for the regional beginning at Friday. Louisville and Grand Canyon, the first game, Nebraska and South Dakota. The second game, then the winners will play on Saturday for the right to move on to the Super Regionals the following week. So
yeah, and you know, that's Louisville. They've got a lot of history packed within their program. Grand Canyon's one of those teams that I feel like they could make some noise and potentially pull off an upset. I'm hoping that upset is against Louisville, but that's a talented softball team, and they're deserving to be there. So yeah, this is not a guarantee that we're just going to go into our regional and walk into a super regional. I mean, we're going to have to play our way through this thing and play some good softball here this weekend. And, you know, we keep playing the way we have been. You look at that UCLA matchup and, you know, UCLA in a rhythm, I think really through the first 5 innings, just dialed in, and our offense was kind of in a little bit of a funk, trying to get going, making good contact, just seemed to be hitting a bunch of atom balls if we could even make contact. And then the bats get hot, bats come alive, and you saw what happened. I mean, we kind of flushed UCLA down the drain towards the end of it that Saturday afternoon. So, like I said, this team is capable of doing really big things, but we're still going to have to play some pretty darn good softball here moving forward.
Nebraska 46-6 on the season. South Dakota, they are 20-34-1, but they're champions out of the Summit League. They beat Omaha 2-1 on Saturday en route to their first Summit League championship. So they're coming in with a little bit of momentum. And then we have Louisville and Grand Canyon in that second ball game. So that's what's going on for Nebraska softball. Maybe the headline out of the state as we begin this work week here. Nebraska baseball, they had a good weekend. They swept Iowa, winning yesterday by a score of 8-6. What a turnout in Lincoln. Of course, the weather was absolutely phenomenal this weekend. 22,815 fans attended the 3 games in Lincoln this weekend, the third largest conference series all time and the most since 2006. Wraps up a conference season in which Nebraska went 15-0 at home in the conference this year. So Nebraska 37-14 in the season. They've got a midweek game. They're going to play at Creighton tomorrow night. Then they'll finish off the regular season this weekend with games at Minnesota. But a good showing for the Huskers over the weekend as they beat Iowa in 3 straight games, winning on Sunday by a score of 8-6. We'll have some comments from Will Bolt coming up.
I was most impressed with Game 2 in that series. Game 1 was the walk-off 10-run victory, but Game 2 really screwy. We get out to that 7-0 lead. Iowa claws back. Next thing you know, it's 7-6. All of a sudden, Iowa's got like an 11-7 lead, and then Nebraska battles back, ends up winning that baby in a wild one. But I was just impressed with the resiliency, the way they fought on Friday, Saturday, and then to come back and put the finishing touches on Iowa yesterday. Nice 3-game sweep. You mentioned the crowd. It was a gorgeous day yesterday down at the capital city, and Mother's Day holiday to boot. So nice Mom's Day victory. But how much of that is just the Nebraska fan base wanting to beat Iowa at something and having that opportunity? You know, we beat them 2 games in a row. Let's put the Hawkeyes away for good for the season. You have an opportunity to sweep your rivals, and you know they got us in just about everything else except for maybe volleyball, and yeah, that's it. I was trying to think, what else did we beat Iowa? Oh, nothing. Nice. So yeah, it was nice to beat Iowa in something.
NAIA baseball tournament opening round gets underway tomorrow. Doane will be hosting a 4-team pod. at Sherman Field in Lincoln. It'll be Doane, Texas Wesleyan, Madonna out of Michigan, and Oklahoma City, or rather Oakland City out of Indiana. Concordia, they're also in the NAIA baseball tournament opening round. They're going to play in Salina. There are other teams in there. Is going to be Johnson out of Tennessee, Kansas Wesleyan, Concordia, and Our Lady of the Lake, a team out of Texas. NAIA softball tournament opening round. Dort, they sent Dort out to Ashland of Oregon. They're going to play Southern Oregon, Texas A&M, Texarkana, St. Francis of Indiana, Dort, and then Quaz. I'm not so sure about Quaz, where they're from. Morningside, they're going to be playing in Oklahoma. Chickasha, Oklahoma. Morningside is going to be playing with Science and Arts out of Oklahoma, LSU, Alexandria, the College of Idaho, Morningside, and Friends. Midland is going to be in Fayette, Missouri, with the Madonna of Michigan, Central Methodist of Missouri, and IU Southeast. That's Indiana University Southeast. So good luck to our GPAC schools as they begin the softball and baseball postseason runs.
I think it's Ottawa.
Is that what that stands for?
Awaz? The Ottawa Spirit.
It's, yeah.
I'm pulling up their website.
OUAZ?
Yep.
That's Ottawa?
Ottawa Spirit. We are OUAZ. Ottawa University.
All right, to the number 5 seed there in that Ashland, Oregon pod. Yeah, I don't know why Dort got sent out to Ashland, Oregon. But I hope they
Where else are they going to go?
enjoy the scenery there. Waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports for this Monday. If you'd like to chime in with us, you can. 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. That's the Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. If you'd like to leave us a message on our social media sites, we're monitoring those comments as well. New York Jets running back Breece Hall has agreed to a 3-year, $43.5 million contract. Could be worth up to $45.75 million. Contract includes $29 million in guarantees. The average price per year at $14.5 million ranks fourth among running backs behind Saquon Barkley, Christian McCaffrey, and Derrick Henry. Hall moved past Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker, who signed a free agent contract with the Kansas City Chiefs back in March. Poor old Kenneth Walker, he's making only $14.35 million. Hall, again, the bankrolling $14.5 million. He'll turn 25 on May 31st. Rush for a career-high 1,065 yards in 2025. Not an easy task on a team that finished 3-14. But he rushed for 1,065 yards last year. He gets a hefty payday with the New York Jets as they sign him to a 3-year, $43.5 million contract. So
kudos to him and his agent. I think I could sit here and take the grand scope of things. I'm going to say that the Jets probably overpaid for him, given his production level. I mean, I understand 1,000-yard rusher is a 1,000-yard rusher, and you're doing it for a team that won all of 3 games. But, I'd like to turn some of that yardage into production and production into wins. Maybe try to win 6 games before you start signing half your roster and using up all your payroll. I think it's a little bit of a reach, but makes bank, and that's what happens is one of these players, like a Kenneth Walker, right? Kenneth Walker signs the deal. That now sets the precedent for the going rate for running backs in the offseason. And every year it's a little steeper and steeper and steeper for a position that quite frankly doesn't really ever get to its max value. Yeah, you're going to need running backs in the NFL, but they're not utilized like they once were. They're more coming out of the backfield and being pass-catching weapons, and so making that receiver pay. Yeah. I again, overvalue in my estimation, but what are you going to do? Not have a running back?
Yeah.
So
the NFL, by the way, is going to release their regular season schedule on Thursday. It's a big week.
can hardly wait.
The announcement will be made on Thursday. The league has already announced that the San Francisco 49ers and the Rams will meet in Melbourne, Australia in week 1. The game will be aired in prime time in the United States at 7:35 our time on September the 10th. Now, Melbourne is 14 hours ahead of New York, 17 hours ahead of Los Angeles and San Francisco, meaning the game will actually kick off at 10:35 a.m. the next day in Australia. The game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Dallas Cowboys in Rio de Janeiro will take place on week 3. That's on September 27th. The other 7 international matchups evidently going to be announced on Wednesday during Good Morning Football on the NFL Network. And then we're going to have some, I guess, some games that will be announced throughout the week. In fact, already one was announced this morning. The Cowboys and the Giants will be the first Sunday night game of the 2026 season. So you'll be hearing a lot about that this week. They'll sprinkle out some games throughout the week, and then the full schedule for the NFL will be released on Thursday.
You big into that? Like, do you geek out about the schedule release days?
I'm not geeked out, but I will check the Chiefs schedule out. Like when it comes out on Thursday, I say, yep, okay. Okay. You know, we got to play within a division.
Sure.
So those games, I know, I'll look and see who the Chiefs going to play in the non-conference. Says, okay, we'll worry about that in August, September. So I know.
No, that's just it. Like I'll take a glance at it, but then I'll forget it 4 days later. So
a lot of people get all fired up, and this is like a real big week in their lives.
Oh yeah.
When the NFL schedule comes out, they geek out, like you mentioned. They geek out.
I saw people like sharing some of the posts on social media, like they tune in Thursday for the big schedule release. I'm like, who cares?
Yeah, some people get together with schedule release parties. I know some people who do that.
Tell me when we have to go kick ass in week 1. And then we'll go worry about that then.
We got a long way to go, but
Yeah.
like I said, I'll look at it and then put it away in file 13 for a while. Iowa basketball coach Ben McCollum finalizing a new 6-year contract after leading the Hawkeyes to their deepest NCAA tournament run in almost 40 years. In his first season at the helm, McCollum guided Iowa to a 24-13 record and to the Elite Eight in the NCAA tournament, including a upset win over top-seeded Florida in the second round. So anyway, as you might expect, Ben McCollum is going to get a nice payday, finalizing a new 6-year contract with the Iowa Hawkeyes after his run through the NCAA tournament. Let's see, we talked softball.
I was going to say, did you hear anything in Iowa basketball in terms of like the transfer portal or anything like that? It was kind of quiet. I thought maybe after their big run through the Elite Eight and
that they would get a few folks.
And that Ben McCollum was kind of going to be able to pull the Kirk Cegnetti route that they took at Indiana for football and maybe hit a big class in the transfer portal. It's been pretty quiet. I haven't heard of
I'm sure
big names going into the conference.
I'm sure he plunked a couple, but obviously we didn't give a damn here what he did. We'll worry about it next year, huh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just kind of nice to know what your rival school is doing, the team that took you out of the basketball tournament. I think that that's kind of now if you're to put a cursor on somebody or a bullseye.
Yeah, we got to beat Iowa.
I think our bullseye is squarely on the backs of the Iowa Hawkeyes moving into the season.
I agree. NBA playoff stuff from yesterday. The New York Knicks wrapped up the Eastern Conference semifinals. Not a lot of defense played in their Game 4 victory yesterday.
Shocker.
The Knicks beat the Philadelphia 76ers 144 to 114. So New York wins that series 4 games to none. The other series, the Western Conference semifinals, a little bit more competitive. Minnesota beat San Antonio yesterday, 114-109. So that series is tied up at 2 games apiece. The other 2 games will be played tonight. Detroit will be at Cleveland in the Eastern Conference semifinals, with Detroit leading that series 2-1. Oklahoma City will play in Los Angeles against the Lakers in the other Western Conference semifinal series, and OKC has a 3-0 lead in that series.
Over the weekend on the ice, the Carolina Hurricanes took care of business against the Philadelphia Flyers. They won the series in a sweep, 4-0. Carolina has not yet lost a playoff game since the start of the NHL playoffs. Impressive stuff. Colorado, they lost a game Saturday to the Minnesota Wild. More on that in just a little bit, but Minnesota has pulled a game out of that series, so Colorado with the 2-1 advantage. Yesterday on the ice, the Habs, not once, not twice, not 3 times, 4 or 5, they scored 6 goals en route to the 6-2 victory over the Buffalo Sabres. Talk about not much defense. Montreal has the 2-1 advantage over Buffalo in that series. The Ducks have Stevened things with Vegas. They pull out a 4-3 victory. That game was post my bedtime. Did not see it, but the series is tied at 2. Tonight, we resume the Avalanche Wild series. Colorado again with the 2-1 advantage, but the series is in Minneapolis. So we'll see if the Wild can't level things with the Colorado Avalanche.
Racing NASCAR over the weekend.
Woohoo!
Shane Van Gisbergen
SVG, baby!
won the NASCAR race on the road course at Watkins Glen. BG scored his 7th Cup Series victory, all on road or street courses.
It's the only guy that can turn right.
He led 74 of the 100 laps yesterday. Actually, he pitted late.
Yep.
And he dropped back to like 20th place.
And blew by the field.
Yeah, I told my wife, we were watching it yesterday, I said, watch this.
Mm-hmm.
He'll just drive right to the front.
Fresh tires.
Oh, yeah, fresh tires, full tank of gas.
Yep.
Not a worry in the world.
And he was so chill. He was chill. Like when they were doing the pit comm, I was listening to the radio communications, and he's just like, hey, everyone's going into pit. And they're like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it. We'll pit here in a little bit. You'll have fresh tires. Everybody else will be safe, and you'll blow up and by. And he goes, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And he just keeps driving.
He drove right to the front within like 15 laps. So he dominated on the road course again. Michael McDowell, who's turned into a pretty good road racer himself, he finished as second, followed by Ty Gibbs, Chase Briscoe, Tyler Reddick. You and I, as far as our fantasy NASCAR league was concerned, we were in the same boat yesterday.
Connor Zilic.
Yeah, you and I were sitting in a great position to probably tie for the overall championship for this week. Then Connor had a tire go down late in the race, and he finished like down around 15th, 20th place, which took us out of
I've discovered, like, to make top 3 in our league, like, you have to have your drivers all in the top 10.
Oh, yeah.
Just one tiny sneak away from the top 10, and you're cooked. I salvaged a 4th place finish out of it. I had Reddick in at 5. I had SVG with the victory. I had Allmendinger. I think he finished 11th, just outside the top 10. But yeah, Connor Zilic blows a tire. At one point, I think it was like 60 some odd laps remaining. I looked up and I was like, I have 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I did too.
I had 1, 2, 3 at one point in the race.
That tire that Connor Zilic had blow up cost me 3rd place in the spring segment. I was in the money.
Oh.
Damn, I was in the money. And as soon as that tire went down, it was like the air going right out of my balloon, too. The air was going out of Connor Zilic's tire, and it was just going out of me, too. It was just, shh. There I go. I slid down, and somebody took over my 3rd place spot, so
Damn.
he wins the money, and I'm on the outside looking in.
There's always the summer segment, baby. Lick your wounds.
Yeah,
Back on the bar stool. Come on.
Come on. I'm still up there, but yeah, I was out of the money for the first segment.
Now, dude, like the standings reset?
No, your points will stay the same.
Oh, so I still have a lot of wood to chop.
Just you'll have a new summer segment now. So, like, if you get off to a hot start next week, you'll be the leader of the summer segment, and we pay out for the summer segment.
So this is like stage 2.
Yeah, stage 2. So
got it.
So that's what's going on with the sports around the world here. Again, 402-834-1330 is our telephone number. If you'd like to chime in with us, lots has been discussed so far. Whatever's on your mind, give us a call, sports related or not. God, we got the elections. Oh, if the IT guy just chimed in and says we pay the top 4. Wow, so maybe I am in the money. I'll get a couple of bucks, maybe buy a pitcher of beer or so. Yeah, they pay the top 4. So maybe I am in the money.
He didn't even know you. That's like Wemby yesterday. He didn't even know he got ejected. He goes around, he asks his coach, wait, what's flagrant 2 mean? His coach is like, that means you're out and you have to leave. He had that vicious elbow down low. And, refs go rule it a flagrant 2. He just kind of looks, he's like, shrugs his shoulders. He goes, what's flagrant 2? You could clearly lip read it. And his coach turns around, he's, you're gone.
You're out of here.
So didn't even know
right.
you made the money.
Yeah, I'll have to check into that. Maybe I am in the money.
Surprise victory.
I like that. All right, 7:26, waking up with Mike and Tyson. It's a Monday morning here on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
Well, Governor Jim Pillen has requested the Trump administration to issue a major disaster declaration related to severe wildfires that impacted the state from March through April. The funding will assist with covering the cost of damage to public infrastructure that occurred as a result of the Morrill, Cottonwood, Ashby, and Minor fires. More than 821,000 acres were burned in those 4 fires. Preliminary damage estimates by FEMA have reached nearly $9.7 million, with state officials saying federal assistance is needed to support long-term recovery efforts. Meanwhile, in the courts, Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilgers says a proposed Lincoln City ordinance changing the local minimum wage would violate state law. The opinion comes ahead of a final city council vote on a measure that would restore annual cost of living increases approved by voters back in 2022 and eliminate a lower youth wage. Hilger says Nebraska law requires a uniform statewide minimum wage system, making Lincoln's proposal invalid and unenforceable if adopted. Supporters argue the city is defending the will of the voters. It is 7:28. We'll head back to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Well, sports is brought to you by Bamboo Mind and Body Spa of Hastings in Blue Hill, offering therapeutic, holistic treatments, including body work, detoxification, frequency, quantum healing, head spa and facials, and holistic counseling. Dylan Carey doubled home 2 runs in a 3-run 7th inning as Nebraska swept Iowa 8-6 yesterday at Hawks Field in Lincoln. The weekend series drew 22,815 fans, which is the 3rd largest conference series all time and the most since 2006. Nebraska now 15-0 at home in the conference this season. Carey ended up going 2 for 4 at the plate with a double and 2 RBIs. Jet Buck homered and drove in a run while going 2 for 5. Gavin Blankowitz started the ball game. He allowed 2 runs over 4 innings with 6 strikeouts. Colin Novacek got the win, throwing 2 2/3 innings of relief and striking out 5 and allowing only 1 run. Nebraska is now 37-14 in the season, 20-7 in the conference. They'll play at Creighton on Tuesday. First pitch will be at 6. The Nebraska softball team will be the number 4 overall seed for the 2026 NCAA tournament and will host a regional at Bowlin Stadium beginning Friday. Huskers won the Big Ten Conference Tournament on Saturday with a 7-2 win over UCLA. Nebraska will play South Dakota in the first round of the regional on Friday at 5:30. The first game will pit Louisville against Grand Canyon. Alabama will be the number 1 seed for the NCAA tournament, followed by Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Arkansas. Rounding out the top 10 are Florida, Tennessee, UCLA, Florida State, and Georgia. The state high school soccer tournament gets underway today at Morrison Stadium in Omaha. Class A girls games will be on the field today. Lincoln Southwest will play Lincoln East in the first game, followed by Bellevue West against Elkhorn South, Kearney against Millard South, and Omaha Marion against Lincoln Southeast. That's a check into sports headlines coming up on 7:31 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
It'll be warm, sunny, and breezy in the coming days here. We start off on Monday with breezy conditions, a high in the mid-80s, plenty of sunshine, and south-southwest winds 10 to 15, gusting to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, the wind gusts increase to 30 miles per hour, mostly clear skies, a low of 56. On Tuesday, a high in the low 80s, mostly sunny with northerly winds 15 to 20, gusting to 30 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low of 45, and Wednesday, 83, sunny and less wind.
Right now in Hastings, as you wake up, get going, we've got south winds at 6. Clear skies, sunshine, looking good this morning. Temp stands at 48 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
Start your engines, Hastings. It's time for fast, loud Friday nights at Cam Raceway. Cam Raceway is located just east of Hastings on J Street. Catch the adrenaline-pumping action every Friday night through August. Watch stock non-wing micros, restricted micros, junior sprints, cage karts, and more tear up Nebraska's fastest 8-mile dirt track. Gates open at 7. Racing roars to life at 8. Only $10 to get in, and kids 12 and under are free with a paying adult. Cam Raceway, where speed meets dirt and Friday nights come alive. Don't miss it.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the advanced funeral planning specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information at Hamilton.
Looking for the perfect spot before or after the game? Head to Miscue's Sports Bar and Grill in Hastings. Choose from your favorite sandwich or build your own burger or chicken sandwich just the way you like it. Your choice of cheese, sauces, and all your favorite toppings. Craving wings? Choose from over 20 sauces and rubs that bring the flavor every time. Grab an appetizer, catch the game on the big screens, or challenge your friends to a game of pool or darts. There's always something to do. And don't forget the daily lunch specials. Miscue's Sports Bar and Grill, 316 South Elm. Great food, great games, and the perfect hangout in Hastings.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, you need a team you can trust. At Jones Group Insurance in Kennesaw, they're committed to helping individuals, families, and businesses plan for today and prepare for tomorrow. From home, auto, and farm insurance to life coverage and retirement planning, the Jones Group takes the time to understand your goals and build a plan that fits your future. Local service, personalized guidance, trusted protection. Call Jones Group Insurance today and experience the difference a hometown team can make.
Get ready for the ultimate trivia experience with Extreme Sports Trivia. Play from anywhere at home, on the go, or at your favorite bar or restaurant. Compete live against players from all over in real time, answering questions across categories like sports, pop culture, Marvel, and more. Want to see how you stack up? Track your progress with live leaderboards and aim for the top spot. It's free, fun, and super easy to play. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at extremesports.com trivia and start playing now. And keep an eye out. We're coming soon to a bar or restaurant near you.
All right, Mike Willenstein and Bronick with you on a Monday morning as we get you up and get you going for another work week. Hopefully all the moms had a good day yesterday. Happy Mother's Day. We missed you yesterday. State high school baseball.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that. Adams Central losing to Guardian Angels Central Catholic West Point Beamer in their district championship game on Friday. Had to wait around for a couple of hours to see if the Patriots had enough to get them into the state tournament via power points and a wild card. And it came down to a couple of ball games, and everything that the Patriots had to have happen did not. So
everything
the Patriots,
that could go wrong went wrong.
Yeah, the Patriots finished with like 22 wins, the most out of anybody in Class C, and they fail to make the state tournament.
Wow. And I know that in that situation, you don't want to see upsets in the district field, and that's exactly what we saw. We had St. Paul Palmer. They had a comeback victory against Malcolm in Class C to earn a spot to state. So, yeah, that's one of the things. And you mentioned it going into Friday. You know, you need to take care of business when the opportunity presents itself, and you don't want to be on the outside looking in and trying to rely on wild card points because sometimes upsets can happen. And
they did.
Class C went crazy.
Yeah, Auburn lost. Lincoln Christian lost. So there's only 2 wild cards. So as soon as those teams lost, Patriots were out. Despite their great season, we set a bunch of records for Adams Central baseball this year. But it comes down to having to win that last game, and they committed 4 or 5 errors on Friday, and really got hammered by West Point Central Catholic Guardian Angels, whatever their name is. I stumbled through that the entire day Friday.
I think it also makes you appreciate the state tournament runs and everything that needs to happen throughout the course of a baseball season. And we talk about baseball especially being a game of inches, and the margin between victory and defeat is so small. Whether it's personally at the plate when you're making good contact, but your batting average is sitting at 186 because you just keep barreling it up, and you know you're going through the motions, and you're not getting the results to pay off, and it can be a frustrating game. You could have a situation like Adams Central did, where you could do literally everything right, except for the very final game of your season, and 1 or 2 things don't go your way, and you're on the outside looking in. So I think you really also get an appreciation for when you get teams to make it to that level, and hopefully they'll use this as a learning opportunity to know that they got to play their best ball down the stretch. And to be honest, they just ran into a damn good GACC. I'm not even gonna try to throw the WB.
So anyway, the pairings are set for the state high school baseball tournament. Gets underway on Friday in Class A. Omaha West Side will play Millard South. Millard North will take on Omaha Creighton Prep. Lincoln East will play Grand Island. And Lincoln Southwest will face Papillion La Vista South. First round Class B games will be on Saturday. Omaha Skutt against Lincoln Pius. Gretna East against Omaha Gross. Elkhorn North against Seward. And Platte Valley against Lincoln Standing Bear. Then the Class C games will start on Saturday. Central City Centura will play St. Paul Palmer. Guardian Angels Central Catholic West Point Beamer will face Mount Michael Benedictine. Auburn will play Arlington. And Lincoln Lutheran will take on Omaha Roncalli. So those are the first round games in classes A, B, and C as state baseball gets underway this weekend. So we're on the outside looking in. Bring on the Legion schedules, huh?
Yeah.
Legion baseball is coming up next. A lot of the guys that played for Hastings High and Adams Central will be suiting up for Legion baseball this summer. So it's like, check in this uniform.
Right.
And check out the uniforms for Legion baseball. It'll be starting here in a couple of weeks, and we'll be the exclusive home again for Legion baseball here on Extreme Sports. So you can follow the Chiefs and the Braves.
At least you'll get a little bit more time to get the squad together. There are a lot of years where we have state baseball runs, and you get done with state baseball, and the very next post you see is, okay, we're meeting about Legion.
And we're playing
tryouts
Tuesday night.
Right.
Yeah, we're playing
tryouts
Tuesday
are Saturday.
night.
Tuesday's our first game. Have a little bit more time to put the squad together this year.
So, yeah, Legion will be starting here in a couple of weeks. Let's talk Nebraska baseball. Again, the Huskers beating Iowa yesterday by the score of 8-6. Hawks Field, they pick up a sweep over the Hawkeyes. Starting pitcher yesterday was Gavin Blankowitz. He started and allowed 2 runs over 4 innings of work. He recorded 6 strikeouts. Husker head coach Will Bolt talked about it on postgame.
There were 2 long innings there that knocked him out of the game. You know, it was the first and the fourth, you know. So if he could have limited the first inning to maybe 20 pitches, and then the last inning, he obviously got a first pitch out, and then there was 3 walks. So a little head scratching sometimes, but the 2 long innings is why he couldn't go any deeper in the game. It was just super stressful for 2 long innings, and I think if we can just get that fastball command going again, he could get us 5, 6, 7 innings.
Colin Novacek came on. He actually got the win in the ball game yesterday. He threw 2 2/3 innings and struck out 5, gave up only 1 run.
We don't win the game without him. Obviously, the second and third no outs where he gets 3 punch outs. I mean, he's got swing and miss stuff though, and that's kind of why we had him in the spot we had him in to start the year. Sometimes you go to the pen and you just kind of get lost in the shuffle. I mean, you ride the hot hand, and I tell you what, man, Colin has been an ultimate professional and a great teammate. Kind of just waiting his turn to get back out there and compete. And so it's good to see him, now the last 4 times or so, I think he's taken the ball. He's had pretty good outings. So we don't win it without him today. That was huge.
With the victories over the weekend, the Huskers 15-0 at home in the conference season this year.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's just we've played obviously great baseball in this ballpark, and the brand of baseball that we play, it's relentless. And we just had some walk-off wins in this building. We've had some 10-run rules in this building, but all along the way we've had a fan base that's just been incredible. Back in early March when they're freezing their tails off, we got thousands of people in the stands, and we got a pretty loyal fan base here. And then as the weather warms up, you see, I mean, they want to come watch the team get after it, and this team gets after it. So 15-0 at home, and you put your head down and you just compete as hard as you can. I guess you get a chance to do stuff like that.
All right, so the Huskers putting the final touches on their regular season campaign. They're going to play at Creighton tomorrow night at 6 and then move on to play at Minnesota this weekend. So a good series for the Huskers against the Iowa Hawkeyes over the weekend as they sweep the Hawkeyes in 3 games. Always good to see.
Yeah. And selection show I think is Sunday evening for baseball?
Yeah, after the Huskers wrap up their series up in Minnesota. So we'll see where Nebraska is headed. They're probably not going to be
we got a conference tournament.
Yeah, we'll see.
No.
We got a conference tournament first.
Yeah, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself. We got the conference tournament
pump the brakes.
After Sunday. So, like, next week will be the conference tournament. And then, a week from Sunday, will be the selection show.
I think we play good baseball this week. Don't stub your toe in the midweek series. And you take care of business against Minnesota, which we should. And you make a run in the conference tournament. You win conference tournament for 3 straight years. And again, I'm putting a lot of needs to happening here. But say Nebraska wins out. Hypothetically, it could happen. I think we could host. That'd put us in the top 16.
Maybe put a shot in there for the regionals coming up. So, there's still a long way to go, but take care of biz one game at a time. One team that is doing that is the Nebraska softball team.
Mm-hmm.
They wrapped up the Big Ten Conference Tournament Championship on Saturday. Beat UCLA by a score of 7-2. Huskers, the number 4 overall seed for the NCAA tournament. And, again, they'll open play on Friday at home against South Dakota. And then if they win that game, they'll play either Louisville or Grand Canyon on the Saturday. Anyway, I had a chance to meet up with Huskers softball coach Rhonda Ravel. She talked about the unfamiliar opponents in the Nebraska Regional.
Honestly, I don't think we've ever played Grand Canyon. We've played South Dakota, but not recently. We played them in the fall a lot, but we didn't even play them last fall. And Louisville, I can't remember the last time we played Louisville. I know we haven't played Louisville with this coaching staff, so that's really interesting as well. But we'll get busy. We all have our marching orders. We're gonna have a coaching meeting right after here, and we'll get the scouting started.
Rhonda went on to talk about the Big Ten championship and their win over UCLA. Nebraska fell behind against the UCLA in that ball game, but Rhonda says she's proud of the way her team battled back after falling behind the Bruins.
They're unfazed. The scoreboard is not phasing them, whether we're ahead, even, or behind. And that's what I really thought yesterday when we got down with UCLA. They obviously Megan Grant hit a bomb. The first run that they scored, I saw Jordy's feet give out on that dirt a little bit, and then errant throwing caused the first run. But we came right back, and we've done that a lot. We've been down and come right back. We think we did that at Penn State too. They jumped out ahead, and we just came right back. So this team's they fight, and what I love about them is they don't get too high or too low when we're in the moment of competing, and that's the way you compete your best.
So again, Nebraska will be the number 4 overall seed for the NCAA tournament. And Rhonda says that the schedule is really built this year in hopes of maybe capturing a top 8 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Like I said, very first, we began with the end in mind, and that's the reason that we scheduled them preseason the way we did, hoping to secure a top 8 seed for the potential to play ourselves in a position to, here we are now, everything is in front of us that we set our goals to be, and now we just got to get really back to one-pitch softball and all the things that got us here. But absolutely, as I look back on it, it's been built out with a lot of intention.
And what's it going to take to maybe advance to the College World Series down in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, I think it's just doing what we've been doing and not really letting the noise be noisy. The fans can do that, and we appreciate the fans. But in order for us to really hone in and be the best performers that we can, we kind of got to stay quiet. And quiet and focused, intentional, head down, sleeves rolled up, working.
Of course, the Huskers made it into the Super Regionals a year ago before being ousted out of the tournament. So Rhonda says they've got the experience to play in the postseason.
That's a really good point that you bring up, and it's super important. And you can't pay for experience. And the fact that even Lex this last weekend had a really key game against Indiana, so she's now effectively pitched into postseason. Adding Hannah Core, who has the resume that she has, even some of the things that she said at practice the other day, I went back to her. I said, can we start practice the next day with that? Because you were just dropping nuggets of wisdom, and you were just kind of randomly saying them. So I really wanted to hone in on and glean from her experience too.
Finally, Rhonda says her team needs to control the emotions of postseason play.
What we've done so well is, like I said, boring. We're just trying to win pitches and let the scoreboard take care of itself. Because I think if you get, I've been around a long time, and they're a third of my age, and I know how it can affect me if I try to let expectations just seep in and rule the day. And so I know in order for me to be my best, and I'm not even physically performing what I need to do, so I feel like it's my job, it's my responsibility to help them stay at that present and not let the expectations, not let that outside noise in too much. We understand what we want to do, but we also understand very well how you go about doing it.
All right, that's Rhonda Ravel, the head softball coach for the Huskers. Jump on the bandwagon. I think this is going to be a good ride here for a couple of weeks. Very successful regular season. Big Ten tournament champions. Big Ten regular season champs. Now the Huskers hosting the regional this weekend. Hopefully into the super regional next weekend. And then hopefully competing for a natty the following week down in Oklahoma City. And yeah, I think Nebraska is good enough to maybe head to Oklahoma City this year. Came up one game short a year ago. I think we got the horses in the house, horses in the corral, good enough to get to Oklahoma City this year.
We're good. We're a really good softball team. But again, like I've mentioned earlier, and I want to emphasize this because I know that expectations can get high this time of year, especially now hosting a regional, and I think we're starting to get everybody on board the bandwagon, like you say. This team hasn't been quiet about how good they've been. I mean, they've been loudly knocking off opponents. It's just we've been so laser focused on the rise of Husker basketball. Well, hell, it was mid-March before we even took a look at baseball and softball and started really diving in and seeing just how good this team is. But just as good as Nebraska is, I'm going to make the argument there's other teams out there that can easily spoil the fun. You run into a Kennedy at Texas Tech, a Cavan at Texas, a Pickens at Tennessee, and next thing you know, you're in a 1-0 pitcher's duel, and you're on the wrong side of things, and them's the breaks. That's the season. So, yeah, like what she says, and it sounds really boring to the casual fan, but it's a approach that you have to have where you literally are going to take this baby one pitch at a time, and, that's going to start on Friday against South Dakota.
All right, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports at 7:53.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
We will start in the courts where Nebraska Attorney General Mike Hilger says that a proposed Lincoln City ordinance changing the local minimum wage would likely violate state law. The opinion comes ahead of a final city council vote on a measure that would restore the annual cost of living increases that were approved by voters back in 2022 and eliminate a lower youth wage. Hilger says Nebraska law requires a uniform statewide minimum wage system, making Lincoln's proposal, quote, invalid and unenforceable, end quote, if adopted. Supporters argue the city is defending the will of the people. Meanwhile, Governor Jim Pillen has requested that President Donald Trump issue a major disaster declaration related to severe wildfires that impacted the state from March through April. The funding will assist with covering the cost of damage to public infrastructure that included as a result of the Morrill, Cottonwood, Ashby, and Minor fires. More than 821,000 acres were burned in those 4 fires, and preliminary damage estimates by FEMA have reached nearly $9.7 million, with state officials saying that federal assistance is needed to support long-term recovery efforts. It is coming up on 7:55. We'll head back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going down in sports?
You know what? You got a very annoying sunlight coming through your window.
Yeah, that's going to be this week's project.
We got to move some things around.
I'm going to get a curtain, maybe. That's. I've added it to my list of shit that I'm going to do.
Yeah,
on my
put
week
it on
off.
your list of things to do.
List of things to do.
Anyway, Sports Today brought to you by Bamboo Mind and Body Spa of Hastings in Blue Hill, your 24-hour wellness center where members can access a variety of amenities on their own time. Baseball, Dylan Carey doubled home 2 runs in a 3-run 7th inning. Nebraska swept Iowa 8-6 yesterday at Hawks Field in Lincoln. Weekend series drew 22,815 fans, which is the 3rd largest conference series all time and the most since 2006. Nebraska now 37-14, 20-7 in the conference. They'll play at Creighton on Tuesday. First pitch will be at 6. The Nebraska softball team will be the number 4 overall seed for the 2026 NCAA tournament. They'll host a regional at Bowlin Stadium beginning Friday. Nebraska will play South Dakota at 5:30. The other game will pit Louisville against Grand Canyon. Alabama, the number 1 seed for the NCAA softball tournament, followed by Texas, Oklahoma, Nebraska, and Arkansas. Rounding out the top 10 are Florida, Tennessee, UCLA, Florida State, and Georgia. High school soccer tournament gets underway today at Morrison Stadium in Omaha. Class A girls will be on the field today. Lincoln Southwest will play Lincoln East. Bellevue West will take on Elkhorn South. Kearney has a game against Millard South, and Omaha Marion will play Lincoln Southeast. That's a check into sports headlines at 7:57 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
It'll be warm, sunny, and breezy in the coming days here. We start off on Monday with breezy conditions, a high in the mid-80s, plenty of sunshine, and south-southwest winds 10 to 15, gusting to 25 miles per hour. Tonight, the wind gusts increase to 30 miles per hour, mostly clear skies, a low of 56. On Tuesday, a high in the low 80s, mostly sunny with northerly winds 15 to 20, gusting to 30 miles per hour. Tuesday night, mostly clear with a low of 45, and Wednesday, 83 sunny and less wind.
Right now in Hastings, we've got south winds at 6. Clear skies, sunshine, 48 in Hastings at Extreme Sports.
You could sit at home this weekend, or you could be 350 feet above the North Loop River Valley with a glass of wine in hand. At Miletta Vista Winery, we've got the view, the food, and the wine to make the drive worth it. Lunch, dinner, or small plate appetizers, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. No stress, no rush, just a better way to spend your time. Miletta Vista Winery. Come and see what you've been missing. Miletta Vista Winery, St. Paul, Nebraska. Let us know you're coming. 308-754-4416.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Get ready, race fans. Cam Raceway is teaming up with Extreme Sports for an electrifying season of high-speed, dirt-slinging, adrenaline-pumping action. Every race night, we're bringing you live video coverage straight from the track, so you won't miss a single lap, pass, or photo finish. From non-wing warriors to cage karts, flat karts, and the A-class wing beasts, we've got it all. There's nothing like the roar of the engines, the smell of burning rubber, and the rush of dirt flying action right in front of you. So get to the track and experience it live. But if you can't make it, don't sweat. Extreme Sports has you covered. Buckle up, because this season is going to be fast, fierce, and unforgettable. Make sure you like and follow Extreme Sports on Facebook to get all the latest updates, and we will see you at the track.
All right, Mike Will, Giants and Abronic huddle up on Extreme Sports for this Monday. We had, some graduations over the weekend. Hastings College, Central Community College, all graduating. So some of the kids are out for the summer. Next
School's
couple of
out.
weeks. Everybody else will be joining them. So, yeah, we kind of move into the next phase. Once you hit Mother's Day and you get a couple of graduations going, you kind of head into the next phase of things. And that's kind of like what we're going to do. Next phase, Legion Baseball. So we got a couple of days where we really don't have any live play-by-play sports coming up for you, but we still have plenty of sports to talk about, and we'll have it all right here.
That's right.
All right, so you guys put some finishing touches on your class schedule out there, and then you're free for the summer.
That's a polite way to put it.
Well, yeah. I didn't want you to go off here in the last couple of minutes.
No worries.
You got to put some finishing touches on your class schedule out there. So, anyway, if you'd like to listen to the show again, you can go to our podcast section on our social media sites. We had comments from Husker head coach Will Bolt and Huskers softball coach Rhonda Ravel. We'll be back again tomorrow morning at 7 o'clock with Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening to Huddle Up on Extreme Sports, Central Nebraska's new home for sports. Join us every weekday morning from 7 until 8 on Extreme Sports.